good to see you, bro. Mahirap maging vlogger, no?
Mahirap maging vlogger.
Mahirap maging vlogger.
Hindi, pero the good thing is, at least, we get to now hang out. Di ba kasi we're always talking in the studio. Pare, seriously, I think this is the first time we've actually met up that we're not really shooting a video. Right? Not really, but really. Di ba? In a public space and having a conversation. I never get to converse with you outside the studio. I don't even know what you're all about. I know you're younger than me. Right?
Yeah, in my 30s.
Right.
In my 30s.
Right. You know how old I am, right?
You told me you were batchmates of our agriculture secretary, whom I met and interviewed separately. So I think that puts
Yes.
things into perspective.
Yeah.
So, kayo ni Sherwin Gatchalian, you're kind of also close?
Sherwin's a little bit younger, yeah.
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 Oh, wow. But both of you age very well.
Yeah. Sherwin, funny, I'll give you a trivia. I met Sherwin Gatchalian when he first came back from Canada. He doesn't remember it. I have a good memory.
Oh.
I met him through a common friend who is now in Canada, and we met up, just kwentuhan lang. He was like, oh, hi, I'm Sherwin, I'm Chris. Ganun. And then, kasi they met up, and then, I don't know why my friend invited me, because a fellow Canadian, parang gano'n. Tapos that was it. I never see him again, never saw him again, until then he ran now for politics. And so far, I like what Sherwin's doing. Funny na bagay natin si Sherwin, kasi I made a comment about Winry, their love team. Diba? Not really a love team, guys. I mean, just saying that
The branding
the
or whatever.
branding, it's a really good branding.
It is one, yeah.
It's great.
Sino nag-isip niyan? Good job.
When they did the branding, I commented na I think that's what we need in politics to get people more interested to watch the Senate.
Na hindi toxic.
Yes. Kasi we're always watching Senate and we're always criticizing it. Nakakainis na, so you're watching it. And then you've got this really cute thing happening on the internet where I see both of them, yung mga papakita ng video, nagtitinginan. Si Senwin was making sure Senri was okay, yung mga ganon.
But bro, we both love Sherwin. I mean, pero dami niya hugot siguro, no? I mean, I love the guy. Like, may mga advice. Kasi, I mean, I had interviews him on education. He's a very smart guy. We talk about semiconductors.
Yeah.
So very geeky. When we're together, we're very wonky.
Okay. Say
And
what
then
you're
someone
gonna
was
say.
saying, perfect. Pero na-advise mo ba sa love life? Yeah. Not that I'm a paragon of success in love life. I have had so many failed relationships. Pero parang feeling ko, oh. So when this Winry happened, parang, okay, let's see where this goes.
But I don't think naman.
No, it's not real.
Yeah, because it's not. It's obviously not. They're not even.
Yeah, I know. They're just humoring us.
Yeah, they're humoring us.
Ang point ko lang is, I just want him to heal.
And by the way, babagitin ko lang.
Yeah.
He does watch our videos.
I know, he's a good
He
friend.
actually watched the video I did about him and said, the Winry couple, nag-comment siya. Kaya ako natatawa.
Right.
Pero at least nakita ko, may sense of humor naman.
Yeah.
And that's what's interesting. Dito ko na-realize how much influence we have over this political sphere on how people think.
Yeah, the first family probably listens. The Dutertes listen, I was
The
told.
Dutertes,
Yeah.
Which brings me to the point now. That's why I think we have to be very responsible on what we say.
I know.
How we say it, and making sure that the information is correct. You know how you sometimes make a mistake. You repost something that wasn't real. You know, back in the day when fake news.
Yeah.
I've done that. And I remember I would see a news, react ako, I'd make a video. And then people would call me out and said, did you check your facts? And I was like, wow. And then there was a former senator who actually sued me. I never talked about this until now lang. And doon ko na na-realize, you have to really be careful with what you say. Not because you're afraid of lawsuits, but because you have a big responsibility. You have the bigger the voice, the bigger the responsibility. Kaya now, I'm very careful eh. Kaya hindi ko sinasakyan yung mga rumors dyan eh. Tulad mo, ano nangyari doon?
But the bato one, I explained. Sabi ko, if ever it's true X, Y, and Z, right? And by the way, I had also Attorney Christian Conti the day after, and sabi niya, if ever nahuli yan, you'll just know it in ICC na.
Right.
Diretso na yan.
Yeah. Okay.
But ako, even more than that, I'm willing to take even more criticism on other issues. Like for instance, Yung last year, remember, na persona non grata ako on 8,
Oh,
9
yes.
difference in Mindanao.
Yes.
And at first, I was very angry and hurt. Kasi alam ko naman troll farm operations yan.
Yes.
They really use the grievance. But a good friend of mine from Mindanao said, sabi niya, I know what you were trying to do. For a global audience on CNN, you were trying to explain yung injustices, levels of development. But you have to understand, you have that voice, you're the one on CNN, BBC, and then you make certain comparisons that are very hurtful. To a lot of people,
Yes.
even when your intention is not that.
Yes.
So sabi niya, can you be responsible not only in the intellectual sense, but in terms of emotional impact? After that, shut up, like, yeah, you got a point. Kasi up to that point, I was really angry.
Nilalabanan mo pa.
Kasi sabi ko, tinarabaho to, talagang they use that as a grievance.
Yeah.
Parang yun yung naging ano nila, pang rouse up. Kasi
Yes.
the context was, dinala si Digong sa ICC,
Yes.
galit na galit. So kumbaga, parang pinasok yan dun sa whatever operations was happening. But once my friend from Mindanao told me that, shut up now, I said, you know what? You're right.
Kumbaga, surrender na. Okay na,
Because
I get it, I'll be better.
Kasi the sense of responsibility, hindi lang yung you get the facts right. You also make sure you're using your platform to inspire, to fight against stereotypes, to fight against prejudice, and all of those things. I know maybe it sounds too woke for you, or at least basic sensitivity man lang. Minsan kahit tama yung topic, wag mo na patulan if it's gonna hurt people more. I don't know.
Well, sa akin, but wait, let me get coffee, hold on. Ano nga, isang Amerikano?
Amerikano, sir.
Yeah.
Yellow, sir.
Yeah, and you
Okay
can take
lang.
this na. Thank you,
Warm
Yeah.
water na lang sa akin. Just,
Yeah, it's good. Thank you so much. You know, I realized, ako naman, for me, I'm particular about being authentic with what I say and how I feel. It's not in my nature na, don't say this because it's politically incorrect. Baka ma-cancel ka.
it's not about the cancel culture and all of that. It's about, if you want people to listen to you,
Yeah.
it's very important you show you're sensitive to your emotions and feelings. Like, if someone just went through a traumatic experience, don't make a joke or make
Right.
something. Yun lang naman point ko. It's
Right,
not
right.
about political correctness even. It's not even that, bro.
No, you're right. No,
But I agree with you. Dapat hindi tayo matakot dahil sa cancel culture. I also agree with you.
Yeah, I actually get you when you say that na the way you word things, it's just to be sensitive lang, compassionate.
Compassion. That's
Right?
exactly.
Okay, sige.
Yeah.
Having said that, may tanong ako. How do you find compassion when kinakausap mo, minumura ka na, iniinsulta ka, or hindi kinakausap mo, or some of the audience that are very pro-Duterte,
Yeah.
na talagang don't give a crap and talagang gusto lang magmura and hindi ka talaga inaintindihan kahit papano. How do you deal with that pag ganun?
No, first, bro, of course, self-compassion rin. Minsan, as human being, tao tayo, of course we get hurt.
Yeah.
When you get all those horrible, kahit alam natin troll yung iba, nevertheless, of course, first have self-compassion. Understand, na-frustrate tayo, nasasaktan tayo when lahat ng ginagawa mo is para sa kabutihan ng bansa and then you get this. So first, you start with self-compassion. And then the next step is, dun sa mga umaatake sa'yo, they're not all the same. Some of them are even secret fans. They attack you in public,
Yeah.
but when you meet them in person or in private message, actually, sir, fan ako, kay DTS ako. So yun, wala akong problema. The other one naman is, they just didn't know what you meant. Misunderstanding lang talaga. So, nangyari yung person non grata issue. There was actually some LG officials who apologized to me when I explained yung context nung sinabi ko about human development. And then there are other ones naman, bayad naman talaga yan.
Right.
It's a troll operations or political operations. So, wala rin yan. Iba na naman yung treatment. So, ako compartmentalized. And then there are other people whereby they're very passionate about the wrong side, pero feeling ko there's still that spark of openness
Okay.
to other perspective. Yun, medyo stressful yan, but you're willing to engage. Ako, I always had this principle, 20-60-20, right? There are 20-20 extremes on both sides na minsan talagang there, at least one side, never mo makuha mo yan.
Yep.
And then there's around 10-20 na minsan basta alam lang nila similar kayo, they're already with you. So the challenge is dun sa 60, paano may balansa yan? Because you're not gonna get the 100%.
Right.
Probably you're not even gonna get the 80%. Ako, I'm happy if I can win over 60-70% in a room. I can get the world to a better place. Ganun ang approach ko.
Alam mo sa akin, I always speak with this in mind, na lahat tayo Pilipino. And we
Correct.
all want what's good for the country.
Correct.
Nagkakaiba lang tayo sa paraan kung paano natin makakamit yung peace and order, yung what's good for the country.
Correct.
And you're right, there is a certain sector kasi ng mga supporters si Duterte na talagang hopeless. And I feel bad, but even if they're hopeless, when I speak and when you speak, I'm sure, and all of us when we speak, we have them in mind as well. na we're doing this for everyone. It doesn't matter who you support. I'm speaking for the good of the country. Kung ano tingin ko ang makakabuti para sa ating lahat. Hindi dahil gusto ko lang para sa mga dilawan, pink, o mga BBM. Hindi eh.
Echo chamber,
Yeah, it's for the country. So pag may punto tayong pinapalabas, it's not, I'm saying this because it benefits me and my side. No, I'm saying this benefits all of us. Kahit sino sinusuportahan mo, kasama ka dyan. So I keep that in mind. Now, tama ka, may mga ibang supporters naman ni Duterte na, alam ko yan, I see them on my live stream. May mga naka-assign sa akin. They will actually say, good evening, Sir Crispy, ganun yan. Tapos babanat na yan.
Bro, I had literally Banat Bay and Mocha Uson commenting. Kamusta po?
Commenting?
And the Mocha saying, sir, sama kayo, mag-motorbike tayo. Like, it's not even trolls, it's people of that level of DDS, ano.
Ako sa akin kasi, man, sorry, okay, ito naman, yung mga trolls, mga malalaking influencers ni Duterte. That I find a little bit, medyo nahirapan ako with them kasi, I don't know, they come across to me na parang intentional yung ginagawa nilang pambubudol.
Bad faith.
Eh.
Bad
Yeah,
faith.
it's in bad faith. Yung, dude, you're really saying that to try to get them to believe that that's correct even if you don't even believe na tama yun. Yung mental gymnastics, yung kagaya ngayon na
Spin
nangyari with the
doctor,
impeachment, babalik-balik na rin nila yung truth because they just want you to believe. Hindi naman masama magnakaw eh. Wala namang masama na may alias eh. Ginagawa naman yun. Yeah, pero ang problema mo, yung alias, walang kadugtong na totoong tao eh.
Senatrol nga eh. Pati yung senador, ganun din mag-isip. Yung
Diba?
iba senator.
Tapos, bakit? Sino ba talagang nagnakaw? Yung kumuha ng pera, di ba yung mga parang, come on, like, I just feel that I can't deal with. I don't know, because I see nga that they're disingenuous. Versus a supporter of Duterte who just doesn't know better.
Yeah, that's also, iba rin yan. Tama ka. Which actually, where is the compassion even stronger? Doon sa issue ng economic divides. Doon sa issue ng divides in the country. Kaya nga nasaktan ako when ginaganon ako ng iba. Parang I was actually saying na may grievance, may legitimate grievance. And bro, let me put it also this way. Marami sa ating mga kaibigan, kasi yung mga kakamping natin kaibigan, they're very proud of Pinoy days.
Yep.
Or Cory days, or Ramos days, and many good things happen. I cannot deny it. But also many things did not happen. You know, we both have Ronald on our shows. We were with him. I always call him, bakit hindi nangyari? Like yung panahon ni Pinoy, BGC boomed, but I also saw a lot of sweatshop. I saw a lot of slums, tuloy-tuloy pa rin. I saw many middle class umangat, pero marami rin ako nakita na hindi umangat. I saw a development and growth that did not trickle down to a lot of people. And I'm part of that world. Yung mga nagsusulat sa malalaking dyaryo, sa TV and all. Hindi namin kinakausap yung mga taong bayan. Well, parang parang andun, di ba, there's parang that separation eh. At yun ang pinasukan ng mga trolls na yan eh.
Yes,
they filled in the gap.
They filled that void. Okay, good point. I wanna actually address that. Ang problem ko naman kasi, I don't want to go into a space where I don't think I'm welcomed.
Correct.
I don't want to impose my views.
Correct.
Kung let's say itong buong lugar panay Duterte supporters, kung hindi ako invited, I'm not going to impose my view. But if you say, can you speak to us? We want to challenge your view? Sure, I will go.
Yeah.
You want me to say my perspective? I will say. Pero kung ayaw mo marinig yung opinion ko, hindi ko ipipilit. Listen, if you want to believe the sky is red and that you want to believe that the earth is flat, you know, if you're happy with that, go. Live your life. Kung masaya ka doon.
But what if yung believe nila that the sky is red means mamamatay yung ibang tao?
Yon.
Yan ang problema eh.
Yon, okay.
May implication kasi.
Tama ka doon. That is when I speak out.
Yeah.
But again, I can speak all I want. But if you're not willing to listen, what does it achieve?
Correct.
Wala. Kaya, yun yung ibig ko sabihin na I'm not gonna go into a space where you don't want to listen. No, but if you want to have a debate, I'll debate. I'll go to your world.
So that means you're a true Democrat. Kasi kung talagang naniniwala ka sa demokrasya, you're willing to accept there are people there who have a right to believe completely opposite views of yours. And wala kang problema dyan.
I have no...
Exactly. Then you're a Democrat. That means you're a true Democrat.
Whatever that label may be. But for me, that's important that we know that na we can have different opinions. And it's okay. Kaya nga, when people say to me, hindi ka ba nasa-stress pag kumwari, somebody nakikipag-debate? I never get stressed about a debate because I truly believe, deep in my heart, na may karapatan ka paniwalaan ng kahit na anong gusto mong paniwalaan. And I will never impose my view on you. Never, ever. But I have very strong views. But it doesn't mean that I will tell you, you have to believe what I believe, or else it's not gonna work. No. Listen, we can both disagree and life goes on. You know? And I think that's the problem with there are people on the left and on the right that are too polarized where hindi sila willing tanggapin yung isang perspective.
Yung cancel culture.
Yeah, the cancel culture.
By the way, it's not a left thing. The right does that all the time.
Oh, sure.
Komunista tong mga radical to, they also do that.
Yeah.
Or DDS, they say, dilawan yan, criminal yan, maleta yan, ganun yan.
You know what's funny is, yun na nga sa mga DDS, is yung mga trolls, they do that on purpose.
Yeah.
Para lang to create nga the divide.
Yeah.
Pero in reality, tingnan mo, how many times have I seen Attorney Falsis nagtatawanan with sina Attorney Bondok, di ba?
Yeah.
I mean, I find Attorney Bondok funny. I don't particularly agree with a lot of his views. I don't like it though pag nagsisinungaling sila. Or yun na nga, when they're intentionally spreading fake news. That bugs the crap out of me. Kasi intentional you're literally trying to muddle or muddy the issue. Ginagago mo yung taong bayan. Kaya sometimes I do a vlog, kausap ko yung mga Duterte supporters. I actually will address them. Sinasabi ko sa mga Duterte supporters, papayag ba kayo na binubudol kayo ng mga Cayetano? Na tingin nila talaga sa inyo, ganun kayo kabobo at mangmang, nagagawa siya ng spliced video to make it seem like mali yung sinasabi ni Chel Jokno. Kayo yung target niya
Kulto na yan.
Kung alam ko na binubudol ako ng mga pinapakinggan kong mga influencers o yung leaders natin, alam kong ginagago mo ako, mumurahin ko talaga sila Hindi ko susuportahan yan Yun ang pinaparating ko sa mga supporters ni Duterte. Kung nakikita mo nang ginagago kayo ng mga trolls para maniwala kayo to a certain narrative, mag-isip-isip na kayo kung ano ba talaga tingin nila sa'yo. Kaya that's why some of the influencers or mga content creators, mga trolls si Duterte, I can't deal with. The lawyers of Duterte, I have no problem with.
Ako kasi bro, even way before you debated some attorney DDS, whatever, I was already debating with Banat Bay, with Sasot, nang debate ko silang lahat. Nevertheless, tanggap ko, meron moral tension dyan. Kasi sa isang banda, naniniwala tayo in safe space, civilized debate. Ako, I was a competitive debater in college. So naniniwala ko, I'm a member of Oxford Union. So I love debating. But there's another problem. Ang sinasabi ng critics, and again, even my own critics from the other side, I'm willing to also see their point. Ang point nila is, hindi kasi ito yung iba lang kayo ng pananaw Ang pananaw nila ay tumulong sa thousands of extrajudicial killings. Ang pananaw nila ay tumulong dun sa ginagawa ng China sa West Philippine Sea. Ang pananaw nila ay nag-enable ng a certain environment na nag-thrive ang Dutertismo. Ako naman, so the next question is, so anong solution mo? Because dun sa 60 in the middle, dapat makita nila na walang kwenta yung arguments nila. So kung nagdedebate ka, may binibigyan ko ng oportunidad, yung 60% to see. And then the other argument would be, no. The fact na nandyan ka, ikaw Richard, nagsulat sa New York Times, yan, ganyan, you're legitimizing them as if may symmetry kayo.
Right.
Moral intellectual symmetry.
Yeah.
So parang basically, you're legitimizing them. Diba? Ako naman, sabi ko, no. Someone has to call out the nonsense so that makita ng tao, actually, hindi ka symmetrical. And then comes another argument. You see, I've thought about this very deeply, no? The other argument would be, wait, sino nag-organize ng event na yan? Sinong nag-referee ng event na yan? So ako, basically, my principle comes down to it. We have to have a neutral organizer, moderator, whereby all of us can come and debate with each other. The rules are very clear. And dapat may agreement na walang splice feed yung lalabas. Because that was always the worry.
Yes!
Isa-splice nila yung sasabihin natin, iti-twist nila para mo kasi, pag ganun yan, I'll never talk to you anymore.
Oh
Ganun
my
ang rule
God!
ko. That's my rule. No splice video.
You're right. Ginawa sa akin yun. Basta they made a lot of stupid claims on a spliced video.
Bastos yan. You don't do
like,
that.
natawa na lang ako. So I'm like, sabi ko, kung may maniniwala dyan, that's on you. Again, this is me with my attitude of, kung ikaw, supporter ka ni attorney, at naiinis ka na natalo siya, tapos gusto mo maniwala na nanalo siya, that's on you. You wanna believe in your delusion, drinking your Kool-Aid, by all means, keep drinking. Doesn't hurt me. It doesn't make a difference to my
Pero
life.
parang dual yan, bro. Dapat may rules.
Yun, pero tama
Diba?
ka. Tama ka, dapat may rules.
Kasi kung bastos sila, I don't wanna talk to you anymore. Ganun lang sa akin. You wanna do this properly with rules? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Ginagawa na sa Oxford Union
Yeah.
yan.
So magpipirma ka talaga na.
Oo.
You can take the material,
May
but
rules.
walang splice video.
Walang splice video.
Pag may splice, pwedeng demandahan yan. Ganon.
Parang even sa giyera, di ba may rules of war
May rules of war.
Hindi mo papatayin yung mga civilians, hindi mo bombayin lahat.
Right.
May rules of war Kung
Right.
sa giyera na nga literally patayan, meron rules. we should have rules when dealing with these people. So, para sa akin, if you don't respect their wala na yan. In fairness kay Banat Ba, I don't think he created splice video out of it. And whenever gumawa ka ng shorts or hindi siya splice. Like, makikita mo yung response back and forth. Both sides, walang edit ganon. Highlight siya, pero walang edited in the middle. The flow is perfectly captured. Kasi I believe in fairness. Even sa war, there should be rules.
Yeah, I'll debate with you on the fairness part. The world is not fair.
No, it's not fair.
No matter what.
But you can try to make it approximately less unfair. Yun
Oh,
na lang
sure.
point ko.
Okay. Sabagay, if you can control the environment para maging fair,
Or mitigate.
okay, at least mabawasan, okay, sige. I mean, I get that. Pero, yeah, that's just the reality. Kaya siguro, maybe, I don't surrender to that fact. I'm not resigned to that fact. I just am realistic na alam ko na ganun talaga sitwasyon. And ganyan talaga eh. But not to say that I'll just let it go.
Yeah.
Of course, kung kailangan mo ilabanan ng fake news, labanan mo yan. Talagang i-correct mo yung information because you can't leave an information uncorrected nowadays. Because if you leave that uncorrected, man, I'm sorry there are just some people that will be, I mean, we've seen this danger happen in the past administration where yung information was not corrected and it became the truth.
Nanganak ng sariling mundo.
Nanganak. And people repeat it over and over. Ay, nakita ko, naalala ko, yung kay Risa, yung sinabihan siya na sa PhilHealth. But nobody cared to correct the information. So people believe that it's true. But pag tinignan mo, it's so easy to see na, teka lang, maling timeline. Nung nangyari yung problem sa PhilHealth, wala pa nga si Risa. Then she went into PhilHealth to try to fix the problem. Tapos, ngayon bibintang niyo sa kanya, parang ganun.
That's why I feel kindred spirit ka because for a long time, marami tayong mga kaibigan. Totoong kaibigan na hindi yung kaibigan na nagsabi, Richard, wag na natin patulan mga to. Parang the truth will, prevail. The arc of history bends. Sabi ko, hindi. You have to bend the arc of history towards justice. The truth will not prevail because sabi nga ni Goebbels, di ba, mga Nazi, you say the same lie 1,000 times, it becomes truth.
Yeah.
So that's the reality. So sabi ko, that's why you have to fight. Pandagulan.
Tama ka. And when you say the truth will prevail, in a sense, what you mean, what I think it meant is, not na bahala na si God, parang gano'n. No, you have to speak the truth. That's why every time somebody says nga na parang, let karma do its thing. No. We are instruments of change. Everyone, all of us. Kailangan tayo gumawa ng mga paraan para magkaroon ng pagbabago. It doesn't happen spontaneously.
Right.
No, it's concerted effort, intentional effort that actually creates lasting change. In the information age now, yun ang pinakamahirap. Pag wala yung palitan ng ideas na ganito, one side will dominate the information space. And that's how you get a lot of citizens na I feel bad, I don't know, that nabubudol. Ang daming mga, is it just Filipinos na nabubudol?
No, absolutely not. I've been all around the world na hindi lang first world,
Sabagay, sa US, tiga mo.
Exactly. Yung first world pa yan, kunyari, no? No, ako, malamang kung pinabayaan mo yung education system mo, wala kang civic education, yung mga kabataan, hindi nila alam yung katotohanan ng panahon ng martial law, hindi nila alam anong kahalagan ng rule of law, yung checks and balances, tataka ba tayo? Or ang trato sa education system is vocational lang, para lang mahirang kang certificate or degree, tapos mag-abroad ka rin. So kung ganun ang treatment mo sa education, hindi for civic education, may problema ka. Lahat ng mga successful countries, from Singapore to Norway, right? Tignan mo yung education system nila, civic education. Mahalin mo ang bansa mo, itong duties mo sa bansa, sa community. Whether sobrang liberal like Norway, or medyo authoritarian like Singapore. Same. Both very successful. Sweden to Singapore. So, or Emirates all the way to Finland, for instance. Yun yung wala tayo. Kulang tayo sa civic education. Kaya bro, I don't agree with mga ibang tao. Mga yan, bobo sila. Kasi I know a lot na PhD in engineering. Nag-aaral pa sa Harvard, gano'n. Tapos DDS. So ano ibig sabihin yan?
Exactly.
Sabi, kulang sila ng civic education. Hindi sila kulang sa education.
Bakit wala ba sa education system natin ng civic education? Wala ba?
It's nothing close to what you have, yung mga bansa na we admire.
Sige. So, sige. Then that's where we fill that void.
That's what we do is civic education. Basically. Hindi siya political vlogging.
Okay, ano bang civic education versus political vlogging? Sige, go. Para
una, when you say civic education, ibig sabihin yan, you don't live for yourself. You don't live in isolation. Kasama ka sa isang komunidad. Ang bansa mo yung komunidad mo.
Okay.
So of course, meron kang rights, meron kang privileges, pero meron ka ring responsibilities.
Okay.
Diba? Very, very important yan. Pangalawa, intindihin mo, ano ba ang ibig sabihin na republic ang Pilipinas? Dapat, pag republic, walang hari, or walang mga oligarchs, o walang dynasties. Parang hindi nagsinkin yan. Or sinasabi mo na meron tayong checks and balances. Ano ibig sabihin yan? Ibig sabihin, no one is above the law. Ibig sabihin, yung mga ganun, basic. And then, anong nangyari sa kasaysayan natin? What went wrong during martial law? Ano yung masama sa martial law? Paano umasenso mga bansa? You see, there's so many things na hindi naman kailangan na PhD level ang pagtuturo. Pero kabataan pa lang, you should have to inculcate that. For instance, sa issue ng West Philippine Sea,
Right.
ano yung sovereign rights?
Right,
Ano
right.
ibig sabihin ng meron tayong sovereign rights sa West Philippine Sea? Ano tong West Philippine Sea? Saan galing yan?
Yes.
Bakit walang basihan yung sinasabi ng China? Bro, wala yan. Ngayon lang natin nilalagay yan eh. Kaya nga madali first digong to say, huwag na tayo mag-away dyan. Suicidal na, matalo tayo dyan. Gawin mo yan sa Singapore or Sweden, patay ka. You're out of... Umalis ka na dito.
Yeah, you're right, ano? Tama, no? Dito, no, pwedeng sabihin ng isang presidente yan. And people agree. You know what I never liked about nung panahon ni Duterte? Yung, he was turning everyone into cowards. Being a coward became a badge of honor.
Practical tayo mag-isip.
Oh, so yung sasabihin lang, bakit? Ikaw ba pupunta ka sa gera, sa harapan ng gera?
Yeah.
Ha? Yung mahina lang tayo, wala naman tayong laban, ba't lalabang ka ba talaga? Yung pinopromote niya na ang tao parang maging duwag ka na lang. Kasi mahina tayo, maliit lang tayo. Kaya shut up ka na lang. Alam mo yung ganyang ugali is because he wants a subservient Filipino. A subservient Filipino kasi will not dare to go against him.
Go against him and goes against superpower.
Exactly.
Yung gusto niya.
Yeah.
Blind loyalty and following lang.
Exactly. Wala ka namang kakayahan eh. Shut up ka na. Wala ka namang kapangyarihan eh. Shut up ka na lang.
Exactly.
Bakit? Lalabang ka ba? Baka mapatay ka. Oh, listen to that narrative and that language. It goes to president, pwede rin China, pwede whoever. It teaches the Filipino na maging tahimik ka na lang kasi wala kang kapangyarihan, which is the exact opposite of what it should be. And I keep saying this, na ang Filipino, meron tayong kapangyarihan na gustong kunin ng ating mga politiko. Yan yung ating bosses. The moment binigay mo yan sa kanila, they become powerful. Kaya ang powerful ng mga Dutertes. Kasi nga, sinusuportahan sila ng certain base na hindi nawawala. Kahit anong pang mangyari, kahit anong maling gawin nila, kahit anong pagpatay na gawin nila, kahit na anong pagmumura, pagbabanta, support pa rin eh. So binigay na ng mga taong to, yung kapangyarihan nila, binigay na nila kay Duterte.
At hindi naiwala sa karapatan. Whether human rights or sovereign rights. Consistency, di ba? Might makes it right.
Yes.
Ako, malakas ako presidente, makinig lang kayo sa akin. Wala kayong karapatan. China, mas malakas sa atin, wala tayong
Makinig kayo sa
karapatan.
kanila.
Actually, logically consistent siya in a wrong way.
Yeah, sabagay, if you look at it, di ba, yung nag-meeting sila ni Putin, naalala mo yun? Oo, ganun siya. Tuta talaga, tuta ng Russia. Magaling si Putin,
Ganun yung mga mafia, mas takot parati sa mga mas malalaking mafia. Ganun sa mafia world, di ba? Lahat gangster, pero pag may mas malaking gangster, biglang boss.
Yun.
Biglang boss.
Pero yun yung mali. Okay, so if you were to try to do civic education, may curriculum ka, Richard.
Yeah.
Give me the flow of how it should be. Anong unang kailangan pag-usapan? Mga siguro 5 steps. Ano yung unang pag-usapan all the way to the 5th conversation? What should it be?
Yeah, ako naman, parating natin sinasabi, kulang tayo sa pagmamahal sa ating bayan. Okay, sabihin natin yun yung totoo. Pero alam ko, it's more complicated. For instance, mahal natin yung kultura natin. Yung Jollibee na miss natin or yung adobo na miss. So actually, hindi tayo nagkakulang in terms of attachment. Pero in terms of saan ba galing ang Pilipinas, yung mga sakripisyo ng ating mga ninuno, literally may mga namatay para sa ideya ng Pilipinas. Can you understand? Lahat ng mga bayani natin, they're even younger than me. They were like 20s.
When
Rizal
they
was
died.
34, 32,
When
30.
he died.
Imagine these people, lahat ng pribileyo sa buhay meron sila. They could have lived in Europe and good life and they sacrificed it. Mahiya naman tayo kahit papano sa kanila.
Oh, wow.
Yung mga ganun. So, kaya nga kanina, sabi ko, emotional laceration. Because naalala ko, grabe yung sakripisyo ni Rizal na 10 times mas magaling sa atin. So first of all, yung pagmamahal sa bayan ay hindi lang sa pagkain, sa customs, sa kultura. Dapat pagmamahal doon sa ideya ng Pilipinas at yung pinanggalingan natin. the millions who died throughout the years. Kalaban natin ng mga Imperial Japan,
Yeah.
yung Philippine-American War, Philippine-Spanish War, ang dami yun, bro. So we owe it to them. So first, ground them. Saan galing yung bansa? Pangalawa, paano bumuo itong sistema natin na tinatawag natin Republic of the Philippines? Ano ba yung mga basic principles? I-explain mo. Hindi lang yung memorization eh.
Yeah.
Na
Hindi lang
sinong
history
president-
lesson.
Exactly. Intindihin mo yung functions at yung mga prinsipyo, yung founding principles. Bakit ito yung prinsipyo? Kasi ayaw natin ng hari-harian, ayaw natin ng tyrants, ayaw natin ng X, Y, and Z, ayaw natin ng komunista, ganun. So explain mo lahat yan. And then of course, ano yung mga maling nangyari sa ating kasaysayan? Martial law was an evil.
Wow, that was one of the...
Maraming corruption nangyari ng time
Sobra.
na yan, maraming namatay. We have to explain that. Pare, wala akong naalala sa aking history, nung basic history ko, na parang ilang pages lang nakita ko nung high school eh.
Yeah, not only that, martial law was, has been sanitized, by the way. Nabalitaan ko to sa mga kaibigan ko may-ari ng mga eskwelahan. Na sinabi na sa akin, Chris, tignan mo yung mga libro, history books. Martial law has been sanitized. And they've been doing this since early 2000s. So in other words kasi, ang problema natin, sinabi to nung mga may-ari ng eskwelahan tinignan na yung mga libro natin, history books. First of all, we have a problem with our publishing system because of the corruption. Kaya kayang-kayang palitan yun, tapos yun ang ginagawang official books na pinapaaral sa ating mga kabataan. Which is why, naalala ko nga, I remember this in 2022, during the election. Meron akong kinausap na estudyante na sabi niya, martial law is good. Pero good thing is, nag-uusap naman kami.
At least, yeah.
Sabi ko, and he was willing to converse. Sabi ko, naiintindihan mo ba ang martial law? Oo, may disiplina. Hindi, may takot. Bakit may takot? Kasi during martial law, wala kang karapatan. Ibig sabihin na walang karapatan,
Dugutin
pwede kitang, ngayon, pag may lumapit ng pulis, dadamputin ka. Wala kang karapatan. Pwede ka niyang gulpihin, ipakulong o ipapatay.
Or pagtripan lang.
Wala lang. Wala kang magagawa. Yan ang ibig sabihin ng martial law.
At may curfew.
Yung curfew pa.
Hindi ka pwede mag-party-party sa
I
gabi.
remember, well, may curfew din naman ngayon. Teka lang, anong sinasabi mo, Richard? May martial law ba tayo ngayon as claimed by some of the trolls of Duterte? They're weaponizing that. Na ngayon, may curfew ang mga kabataan. 10 p.m. Bawal na ang mga bata below 16. Bawal ngayon. That's why it's important to create the narrative. But going back, sige. So, yun yung mga steps mo to civic education. I like it. That's good.
Yung pinag-usapan natin, ang mga politiko ay public servants.
Yun, okay. So yun
Sila
pa.
ang dapat mag-serve sa atin. Yung problema, ang trato natin sa mga politiko, hindi lang celebrity. Parang mga sila, divine beings.
Pero nagbago na. Napansin ko
Exactly.
Napansin ko yung pagbabago
Exactly,
ngayon.
oo.
Ngayon, dati pag nakakita ng politiko, si congressman o si governor, papicture tayo.
Parang hari siya, di ba?
Oo, tapos talagang parang celebrity, nagpapapicture ngayon, hindi na. Ngayon makita mo yung congressman.
Nahiya pa,
Sino yan?
Or binubusi sila. Another thing, bro, like yung issue ng corruption, I don't know kung nakita mo yung video ng may isang matanda na pro Bong Revilla. Yung isa sa mga paborito mong senador.
I saw,
And genuine siya.
Oh.
Genuine, sabi niya, nung kailangan niya ng gamot, nag-hospital siya, tinulungan siya ni Congress, or Senator, or whatever. Sabi niya, I think hindi nagigets ng tao saan galing yung pera niyan. Pera din natin yan, kaban ng bayan yan, diba? At hindi naintindihan ng tao na pag dumadaan sa patronage, sa politiko yung pera, first of all, binubulsa yung 90%.
Yes.
Tapos yung 10%, may utang na loob ka pa sa kanya.
Yun ang nakaka-bad trip,
So, dalawa yung problema. Una-una, wala ng budget yung department dahil binubulsa. So, ibig sabihin, hindi nagde-develop yung estado mo, yung services. Kaya nga may welfare system sa iba kasi hindi naman binubulsa. At pangalawa, parang tayo pa may utang na loob kay bossing.
Tapos nakuha mo, bariya lang.
Bariya lang.
Siya yung nakakuha ng mas malaki. Dapat siya yung magpasalamat
And
sa'yo.
of course, yung elections, kung may vote buying, ano ibig sabihin yan? Gagastos na naman. Yung 90% na ninakaw niya doon sa gagamitin niya sa vote buying.
Hindi pa 90% yung gagamitin yan. Baka 20% pa
Or
lang.
whatever. Gagamitin niya ulit sa vote buying. Diba? Kasi ang problema ng mga politiko is, dalawa naglaban para sa nag-vote buying.
Yes.
So may natatalo. Problema, win or lose, kailangan mo babawiin yan.
Yeah.
So that means nagiging cycle of corruption siya. So how do you break out of that? Yun kailangan mo explain sa civic
Kaya
culture.
civic education.
Yun.
I love it. Alam mo,
You get what I'm saying?
alam mo now that you mentioned that, siguro dapat gumawa tayo ng isang programa na civic education.
Parang GMRC, pero medyo higher level.
Yeah.
Na hindi lang yung good
Yes,
values lang. Pero
yes.
actually, pag-intindi
Yes,
sa sistema.
kasi may void May
Correct.
pagkukulang ngayon ng ating education system for whatever reason. We can't keep ranting and complaining about it. Let's do something about it. I like that. Civic education.
Kasi
Hindi ko
bro,
naisip
ginagawa
yun.
ko yan. Di ba nagturo ako sa UP at Lasal. So I do this at the graduate school and undergraduate. My good friend si Leloy sabi na actually ang labanan is sa basic education.
I was going to say,
Textbooks.
grade school pa lang. Grade school, when the mind is like a
Being forming.
sponge.
Correct.
That is when you hit them
So yung
hard.
basic values mo, di ba?
Yes.
Sense of yourself, dignity. Or...
At ito yung nakakatakot. Alam ng mga Duterte yan. Kaya nga si Sara Duterte gumawa ng comic book na ang
Isang
aking kaibigan.
isang
Hindi, pero that's how they do it talaga eh.
Brainwash.
So kailangan natin unahan problema. Nakikinig ba sa atin mga kabataan? Hindi.
No, that means baka we need to write children's comics. I don't know, you were talking about writing, no? That's one thing na hindi ko pa na-try, yung children's
Hindi.
comics. Yung
Maghahanap tayo ng mga bata
Right.
na mga influencers
Right.
na kayang
I-comics yung mga vlogs natin.
o kayo puntahan yung level na yan na
Baka gusto nyo mag-volunteer.
Oo.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's an
kung-
open invitation.
Yeah,
If you want to
absolutely.
help us, let's do this a project together.
Yeah, it is. Kasi, this channel that we're doing naman kasi, the Flip Side Network, ay para magkaroon tayo ng pagkakataon, makapag-uusap on a lot of current events, issues that matter, and make a difference. Hindi lang for entertainment purposes, but information and education.
Correct.
And civic education is sobrang importante na kailangan natin gawin. And yeah, alam mo, sarap pala ng usapan pag hindi tayo nasa studio.
No, I mean, thank you, bro. You raise very good points.
Yeah,
Kung sabi
okay
ko,
yan.
I think I have to mention to you yung civic education. Kasi in a separate discussion, we discussed Sweden, Norway, Finland. Sabi ko, malakas yung civic education nila.
Yeah.
In fact, sa Finland, bata ka pa lang, tinuturo ka what's fake news.
Yes.
Kaya hindi sila na-fake news ng Russia, yung mga kung ano-ano. Imagine mo, so ibig sabihin, kaya pala natin yan, pero hindi natin nagawa. So I
Okay.
think we had a separate discussion about ano yung mga pagkakulang natin.
Okay. So with that, yes, masarap ang usapan at lumampas na tayo sa oras
As
natin.
always, yeah. So abangan nyo yung next discussion.
Na-realize ko nga, we can literally talk for hours. At dahil masarap ang usapan, and also, babanggitin ko rin, masarap kasi yung pagkain.
Very masarap.
Breakfast at Antonio's, I actually used to go to the one in Tagaytay.
Yeah.
And haba ng pila.
Yeah.
But it was always worth it for the food and the view. Now, meron na pala dito sa Manila. So when you said, let's meet at Breakfast at Antonio's, I was like, oh, great,
Yeah.
We get to eat the food from the one in Tagaytay, but right here in
But
our
here,
backyard.
yeah.
Oh. And the
And
coffee's
I like
good.
the vibes. I love the vibes. I love the coffee. I love the food.
The vibes is good. I like the fact that they have the plants and everything. Mix it all.
And the glass and
And
all.
the white dot.
Maliwalas.
Parang ano ba itong team na to? Parang Havana ba? Parang ganon? Or Hacienda na dating di ba? Na ganon.
exactly.
So, but anyway, Richard, salamat sa oras mo. And we gotta do this again over coffee. All right?
I know.
All right,
No,
man.
thank you, bro.
Sige.
God bless. Good luck.